Hello. So I've been really excited about this episode ever since I saw Steven's article. Do you know the cost of your AI platform? My recent experience is that major enterprises are seeking out AI-powered tools and skills as they are pushing business units to review use cases. And for instance, for finance, for procurement, but especially for ITAM, this provides another strategical shift that the community should get ahead of and take advantage of, given our roles as software asset data custodians. And not to derail the topic, but conversations like Stevens today will help avoid similar missed opportunities, such as SaaS and cloud cost management, or FinOps as we know it. Um, Steven, for listeners' benefit, could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, Shaun. First of all, thank you for having me. So
No
my
problem.
name is Steven Wynants. I'm located in Belgium, and I was a vendor management for Toyota Motor Europe for more than 20 years. And recently, I took the plunge and started my own business. I'm supporting companies with their procurement, looking at contract value, total cost of ownership of contract, and improving supplier relationships.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, certainly, I'm sure the community wish you the best of luck with setting up your new business and listening to you today. I'm sure they'll be very interested to speak to you. Um, so to start off with, you open your article with quite a bold claim that most organizations, large organizations, have no real idea what their AI platform actually costs. So is that really a true reflection on what's happening right now?
Yes, I hear CIOs telling us, like, I need to jump on this wagon for AI. I need to do something. But for now, I have no idea how much I should budget. So I'm just going to put one line, and they put 1 million, 2 million. But they have no idea why they put that number. And
Mhm,
then
mhm,
as they start building these AI models, they start implementing some tools, some governance over it. They're confronted with invoices that turn out to be much, much higher than they expected. They get
mhm,
questions
mhm,
from their CFOs, and they're unable to answer why these invoices go up. So understanding the drivers and the cost evolution is a big challenge as
mhm,
well.
mhm, mhm, mhm. No, understood. And I guess on that, on that budgeting front, is it quite commonplace that no one knows how much this costs? Um,
Uh, as I said, I think I consider in the article, I consider AI to be an ecosystem. It's not just a few tools you put together to
mhm,
build
mhm,
those AI models and to drive those AI solutions for your business. It's an entire set of platforms and tools related to governance, security, privacy, um, the model building and execution itself, the data marketplace part that run together. So if you run all of these, it becomes a little bit of a black box because they all seem to influence each other at one point.
okay. So I guess is this primarily a visibility problem, a governance problem, or political one?
Mm, I think it's threefold. So of course you have the visibility. I mentioned black box. It is a bit of a black box if you don't know how everything works together. Uh, the second thing I already mentioned is the driver. So what is driving that cost? Is it the number of users, the amount of data, the number of models you develop, and how they run? And the third thing probably is related to business value. As
Mhm,
IT departments, data departments, they want to serve their business customers quickly with AI
mhm,
solutions,
mhm,
also to avoid that those business customers will go on their own to some solution that they buy online. Uh, it's monitoring that business value that is a challenge as well.
mhm, mhm. Okay, understood. And you did identify five hidden cost drivers in the article. So which one consistently catches organizations most off guard? And which
I
one? Yeah.
Well, I think the one that catches organizations most off guard at this moment is data readiness. Like any data model, any data product, it's garbage in, garbage out. If your data isn't clean, isn't governed, isn't understood, your AI model will not work. The role of data governance in your business organization is very important. But the time it takes to prepare all the data sets required to make the AI model work is something that is very often underestimated. And when you implement some of those enterprise-wide AI projects or programs, it can go up to 60 to 80% of the effort before you get the model actually up and running. Another one that I see coming, probably not today, but in the near future, is the scarcity of talent. Large organizations will all be looking at the same kind of people, the same kind of profiles to fill in those positions of to build and manage those AI models. And at one point, there will just not be enough people to serve all the companies that are out there.
You mentioned AI is an ecosystem and an ecosystem of vendors. So in your experience, I mean, what could that possibly create within within an organization in terms of risks or opportunities?
I think, first of all, I want to say building it as an ecosystem is a good thing. It means that architecturally, the organization has thought about the different platforms and tools that are needed to work together to build a very solid and compliant AI solution. Additionally, I think looking at it as an ecosystem, it means that organizations look to the value of each of the different components. There's, to my knowledge, not one platform or one tool that will deliver all the capabilities that an AI solution needs, especially for a large organization where data is updated in a real-time basis. We all know that. Some of the risks I see is that in some cases you don't have to change anything in, for example, your data marketplace. But if you run additional models in your machine learning platform and you start developing some of those models there, the cost of your data marketplace will go up because it starts calling off those data sets more often. And that's the risk. It's an ecosystem. If you tweak something in one place, all of a sudden you might have an impact either on cost, on compliance, or on exposure risk, the regulatory exposure risk in another platform. And I think that's the big challenge that organizations will face in the future.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, certainly so. And I guess kind of my head thinks to who might be the worst affected in terms of kind of the organizations out there. And I guess thinking about it, the percentage spent or non-compliance to kind of the revenue. I mean, the medium to large enterprises, perhaps, because the larger enterprises will have maybe a little bit more of a handle on the software governance. At least from conversations may have had.
Yes,
Immature ones, no.
I think indeed, more and more large organizations, they have made that click. It's software, so I need to understand some metrics. I need to monitor usage. So they're in that space of monitoring compliance. It's just becoming more complex. And
Yeah.
within vendor contracts in that AI space, I keep seeing back the things that I don't like to see. It's consumption based on different rights of usage that are usually very difficult to monitor. It's about who can access certain bits and pieces of data, and how do you manage if the AI model accesses the data independently? How do you pay for that? How do you consider that kind of non-human user of your data sets? So all these metrics are coming back together and making it very complex. And I think that's where the knowledge that's already in organizations coming from SAM and ITAM can be very well put to use, because this is more than just FinOps. This is not FinOps for AI. It's much more complicated than pure FinOps.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. I mean, you really made a good point there. As the ITAM and SAM teams have been dealing with kind of these problems or versions of the problems for years. Is a SaaS sprawl, cloud cost governance, FinOps. I mean, yeah, the uncontrolled spend is slipping through ITAM's fingers for a while now. So does it feel like the same pattern could be repeating itself?
I'm afraid it will. Yes, some of those contracts they have audit clauses. Now it's still the companies are surfing that hype, surfing that
Hmm.
wave. They'll be fine because companies will keep purchasing new credits or platforms or users. But at one point, uh, finance teams will start asking the questions now, well, what's the
Yep.
value? The value, and
Mm.
companies will maybe rationalize some of the usage of some of those tools, and that's when vendors will wake up. They will say, "You're reducing your contract spend. What's happening there? Let's have a look. Let's do a friendly audit that we all know. Let's see how we can make sure to optimize your usage." We all know what that means. The ITAM people in the audience will definitely get some red flags there if they get these kind of emails. And very often it's data teams. It's new, so they're part of the organization. They're marketing themselves to bring the innovation, to bring the big savings, and maybe from a leadership perspective, from a corporate perspective, it's like, okay, they're the innovators. Let's leave them alone a little bit uh, to do their thing. So I can see some serious conversations happening in the future between larger organizations and their suppliers.
Certainly so. And you've already made some comments about kind of what AI content, or what AI's clauses are starting to look like in the contracts. I mean, with SaaS and cloud, they left the procurement trails, purchase orders, expense claims. With just, I mean, just to kind of take the shadow AI, that's quite an invisible part of what's going on in the background. So I guess again to the governance that you would suggest. I mean, what would you what would you suggest? As I guess, yeah.
I think an easy thing companies can do is make sure that the ecosystem they use for their AI is mapped, that they understand what components are there, who can access those components, and how they influence each other. Uh, I mentioned creating a bit of a box, like, right, this is the box you can play with. And within that playing field, users or customers who want to use or even build their own data product can do so. It saves yourself a hassle of having to run after users who just do their own thing, but you need to give them a bit of a box. I think that's a fairly easy thing to do.
Hmm. Hmm.
Secondly, I already mentioned the business case. If your business customers come to you and say, I want an AI solution, do you really want an AI solution, or do you want some automation, or do you want me to look at some of your processes? Uh, Find that sweet spot where the AI solution that you propose and the platform that you propose will bring the most value. And it's not the case for each of the departments. Sometimes it's just a matter of tweaking the process or doing some minor things you don't need an AI solution for.
Hmm.
Um, and a third thing I would um, do is to put some of the value KPIs on business side. They use a product that a data team or an IT team has developed, but they have to demonstrate the value for their line of business. I think it's a very good thing to sort of push that responsibility to them, because it will allow them to think also about, is this really what I need? And
Yep.
finally,
Yep.
continuously monitor who is using those models and how it reflects back to what the contract says.
Hmm.
Are
Hmm.
people just using the data model to look at a report, for example, or are they actively building things, changing things, configuring things, which will make a big difference in some of the costs of the more user-based kind of license models.
Okay. And I guess just before I go on to the next question, one of the things you point up is kind of suggesting product owners to take some authority of what's being used. I mean, that's a great opportunity for software asset managers or IT asset managers to collaborate and to educate, and I guess again, not miss an opportunity like in the past.
I think, like we've seen with when some of our major software vendors moved from on-premise, which was relatively easy to manage, to
Mm,
cloud solutions where everyone
mm,
could turn on and off certain things. I think again we're at this tipping point where ITAM teams and FinOps teams together can make a difference by monitoring spend, by monitoring usage, by having those conversations with product owners, with platform owners to understand, okay, what are you actually doing? Because we see some weird things happening there on cost side or on consumption side that we want to understand better. Uh, get product owners to know, okay, what questions they should ask themselves
mm.
when they engage with business customers to understand where that value on the one hand and that TCO on the other hand will come from.
Understood. Understood. And so for organizations, I know you mentioned four very good points there, but if someone was listening today and they could only start with one of them, I mean, what would it be and why?
Map it, map the ecosystem, know what you have,
Hmm.
know some of the metrics that are at play, and know your baseline. What are you paying today? And then start looking at, okay, what could I potentially be paying tomorrow if more people are using these models?
Yeah. So it all goes back to visibility, I suppose, and
Absolutely, absolutely.
having that baseline. Yeah.
You need to know where you are. We know it's going to grow. You know you're going to start spending more. But I think as a CIO, you need to be able to explain why you're spending more. So having that baseline visibility is the starting point of everything. Otherwise, you will not be able to answer the questions that you will get.
So that's understood. And I guess without governance, AI is just pure chaos. But
Yeah.
with kind of too much governance, you then don't get that innovation you spoke of earlier. So, in your opinion, do you have a line or kind of what tricks would you as a service provider potentially employ to find that sweet spot?
I think make it simple. An AI business case does not have to be very complex. Business will know what they want. They know what to get out of it. They will know what kind of efficiency improvement or decision-making improvement they will get. It's relatively easy to quantify. Don't overcomplicate it. Indeed, there should be space to play. So having that playground, that box within that kind of framework, users can operate freely, and with the right monitoring, it's relatively easy to manage.